If you're listening to this in January, I want you to hear this clearly because a smoother year in dementia care isn't about being more motivated. It's about building structure before the next hard moment shows up. And the reason this matters is quite simple. It's because the system that caregivers operate in is not built to hold you through those dementia caregiving moments. It was built to respond to medical events, not to support the daily reality of your caregiving experiences. So today, I want to help you steady that and give you some support and give you some peace. If your dementia care keeps turning into crisis mode, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because, like you, most caregivers are trying to manage a full-time care system without a system. Because you can be as loving, you can be as attentive, and you can be doing everything right, and yet you still feel behind because the structure you need was never provided. And that's the gap. And here's what the system really gives you. It gives you a diagnosis, a medication list, a follow-up appointment, a response that you can use when there's a crisis. And yet, what it doesn't reliably give families is a clear way to organize your care, a plan for behaviors, a decision map on what to do next, and it doesn't give you ongoing support when things change from week to week by a guide who's been there before. So caregivers do what any human would do. They react, they kind of patch things together, and they put out fires. But a smoother year in dementia care doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from setting things up before they break. And look, when I say set things up, I'm not talking about a perfect binder or the perfect plan or something that's not going to be flexible as your person changes or as your needs change. But what I'm talking about is 3 categories of structure that the system doesn't hand you, but I've found really useful in my practice. The first one is information structure. What matters medically day to day in one place? The second one is decision structure. So you're not making a choice under pressure. You have everything right there when things get chaotic. The third piece, support structure. So you're not carrying this whole thing alone because you shouldn't have to. And look, this isn't a New Year's resolution, and you don't need to build a whole brand new life of caregiving in January. You need a starting framework that stops things from spinning and spinning. Most people I meet didn't plan on their person getting dementia. Most caregivers don't get to plan dementia caregiving. They're forced to react inside of a system that only shows up when something's broken. And that's not a character flaw. That's a design problem. And you, my friend, you can't outwork a design problem. You have to replace it with something that actually works. And this is the identity shift that I want for you this year. Not one that says you have to stay up on top of everything, but that you have a way to hold everything. Because you can't control dementia, but you can control whether you're living in constant scrambling. There's a huge difference between caring reactively and caring with a system. One's going to lead to burnout, and the other one is going to lead to steadiness. Steadiness doesn't mean that nothing changes. It means you have a framework that absorbs change without taking you down. January is the easiest time to set dementia care up before the next hard thing hits. Because if you wait until the next crisis, you'll be building structure while you're already exhausted. And this is why I don't want you to let the second week of January get away from you. This is the foundation week. If you want a smoother year, start here. Stop measuring your success by how much you're enduring or have endured. I want you to start measuring it by whether you have a structure that makes your caregiving feel just a little bit steadier. If you want to build something like that with support, I would love for you to join us in the CareShift. This is where we're going to discuss real-world system gaps and start to close them. We're going to start solving caregiving problems at the root level. And we're starting a movement where caregivers bend the system, not where they bend to be in the system. And this is where we start shifting from reactive caregiving to structured caregiving. And it's the beginning of the CareShift identity. You don't need to do more. You need to do something that holds you and supports you. I know dementia caregiving can become exhausting fast, and not because you're doing anything wrong, but because that system isn't built to support families like yours in day-to-day caregiving. This year, I don't want you to be caregiving out of reactive mode. I don't want you to feel the chaos of the gaps in the system. You don't need to be doing more. You just need something that holds you and supports you. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, I'd love to see you there. I put the link below this video. Sign up on the list so that you stay in the know. And until next week, I'll be here sharing with you as you're caring for them. Take care.